Born in the pines where the axes sing loud. Generations deep, we're a proud, tough crowd. Hands on the Bible, the timber, the steel. Faith in the Lord, the life that we feel. God, guns, and sawdust, it's in our veins. Through the sweat and the toil, through the joy and the pain. We stand on the roots of the trees we felled. Faith in the maker, stories to tell.
Hey, welcome back, everyone. Hey, we're still here in Hickory, North Carolina. Man, there's a lot of stuff going on over here. We're going to do some podcasts, pre-record podcasts, which is what we're doing now. And hey, we're going to talk about insurance today.
Yeah, absolutely. Because if you got a business, everybody needs to have insurance of some kind. And we happen to stumble across Greg from Granite Insurance Company.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but Greg, y'all are one of the few insurance companies out there that really want to mess with tree work or logging anymore. Y'all specialize in what? High risk?
High risk. All industries, high risk. But I definitely manage our tree care program.
All right, cool. So before we talk about risk and anything associated with it, why don't we pray first?
Let's pray first.
Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for allowing us to meet here today. Thank you for this great cause with Wood for Warriors and keeping our veterans warm and not having to have them worry about how they're going to stay warm throughout the cold winter here in North Carolina. Thank you for keeping everybody safe while they're here and working, and may they have safe travels back home. It is possible that we do everything we do in your name and through you, and we hope that this podcast and that your message and word gets to the people that need to hear it. And in your heavenly name we pray. Amen.
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 So, Sparky, or Alan.
Hey, what's up?
You
Catfish.
met Greg. Why don't you tell us about Greg and how you guys met?
So, Eric Kennedy and I and a group of men came down here in February.
Yeah, we heard about that story.
Yeah, and we had a really good time, and we met a lot of people. And when I left, Greg actually happened to came across one of my videos on what we did here in Hickory, and he reached out to me, and he said, hey, we love what you stand for and what you do, and we would love to get together with you. And I was like, awesome, man, let's do it. But I'm not going to promote anything that I don't know anything about, because that's what I'm, And no offense to Greg or anything, but whenever people think about insurance, they think, oh, crap.
Yeah,
insurance
I know I do.
Guy. Poo. But Greg's like, no, we're different than everybody else. This is what we specialize in, and we would love to come down and talk to you. So Greg came out himself, spent 2 days with my family and I, went through what they are about, and everything is very legit. And I'm like, wow. So basically, this is what they specialize in, and this is what our industry needs, because I know growing up as a logger and also a tree guy, tree service guys go to look for insurance. You got to make sure you're insured for what you're insured for. I mean, what I wanted from Greg was, well, show me where if I'm not insured for something. So he went through everything that I had and was like, hey, man, they said you were insured for forestry. I don't see that on here. I'm like, what? Oh, no. So they make sure that you are getting what you're supposed to be paying for. And that's the thing. A lot of these guys say they're going to do that, and they probably will if your problem's only $5,000. Oh, yeah, Mr. Collier, we'll cover that one. But let's say it's $100,000. You know what they normally do? Buddy, I'm sorry, you weren't covered for that much, man. My bad. Greg is the guy that comes in and makes sure that you're getting what you're paying for. And that's what we need in this industry. When you're driving down the road and you're thinking about doing you got 5 employees, you got workman's comp. This guy's trying to take advantage of you. You don't see insurance companies that specialize this in your local town with the big sign lit up. Hey, over here's where you get your tree servicing company. So this is where I come in. And like I said, it's really easy to promote something that's a good thing. And
so that's cool. So will you guys do audits of somebody's current insurance? So if
Yes.
they say that they're insured through somebody already, can you look through their policy and see what's missing?
Yeah, so that's one of the steps that we do for every client. And I always like to use the analogy of, if you're going to get a suit tailored, you want that suit to fit you. You want it to fit your dimensions, fit what you need, the occasion. Same thing with your insurance program. Not everybody needs workers' comp. Not everybody needs inland marine. Not everybody, needs to be rated the same, either in terms of revenue, payroll, exclusions. An exclusion for somebody may not be a big deal, but for somebody else, it may be like, this would injure my business greatly. So that is a common thing. And I don't want to help anybody, or I don't want to provide a value to anybody that doesn't need it. If they're set up great, and if they're in a great relationship, it's, more about due diligence from that aspect. But, that's a step that we do to make sure we're not wasting anybody's time, because we don't want to go through a month or 3 month process and come back and say, hey, turned out you were in the best spot already. We want to save time and make meaningful impact where we think we can.
So what are your minimum requirements? If somebody's looking for insurance through Granite, do you have minimum requirements that they have to meet before you can provide them insurance? How does that work with you guys?
So for tree care specifically, we have to have a minimum of 5 employees or $250,000 in payroll. And that's the best metric there, because we find that we can provide the most value in the more comprehensive resources we offer outside of just insurance and getting a quote in terms of risk management, OSHA compliance, DOT compliance, HR if they need it. We find that the operations that typically need that the most are more than 5 employees.
Now, what about farm insurance? Because Ryan farms, do you guys do anything with ag insurance at all?
We can. So that wouldn't be my expertise, but we definitely have somebody in the agency that.
Yeah,
that can
we've
assist.
we experienced some of what Alan was talking about not being covered. My wife and I last year with Hurricane Helene, we're up in Virginia, but we're up on just I guess it'd be kind of the northeastern edge of the damage.
Mm-hmm.
And we have one of the big we're insured by one of the big major national companies that does ag and farm insurance. Mm-hmm. And we found out a few of our buildings that we thought were covered weren't covered.
Yep. And
then we found out that company supposedly the year before only paid out less than 30% of the claims on their policyholders that were claims filed by their policyholders.
Right. So insurance companies can, script an insurance company is still a business. Their goal is to make a profit. And if they're underwriting risk in order to not pay out claims. That's why they want really good operations or really good, geographic areas that don't have a lot of losses, because if they're financially obligated to be on them, they're going to be paying out a lot of claims, and they have to diversify that way. But a lot of that does come down to the agent. So the way the analogy I like to give is your insurance agent is like your attorney that represents you to the law, the insurance company. They advocate for you. They can say, hey, this isn't right. We need to correct this, because, they are your barrier and they are your advisor and your advocate. So in terms of how the policy is built and structured, that's on the agent. Now, obviously, it depends on, what the carrier underwriter is willing to do. But typically, that's that role of the agent, is to be that barrier between what you need and what you don't need.
Yep. Makes sense.
Yep.
Sure.
So once you get that point done, we figure out that we like Granite Insurance. We get a policy with you guys. Do you do like annual checkups? Do you offer workshops to come in and relook at process, relook at what you're doing? Yep. What do you guys have for resources that you offer after the signing of that policy to help make sure that, one, like workman's comp mod rates, how are we going to work with our mod rates to make sure that those are staying low or doing what we need to? Do you guys offer training? Do you offer assistance? What do you guys offer with that stuff?
Yep. So insurance is one of the things that we like that we obviously specialize in, but we want to do proactive risk management so that you never really have to use the insurance policies that you're buying. Because in a perfect world, you'd never have to use any of these policies.
Right.
But, what we were talking about earlier, it's an unpredictable industry that you guys work in, and, things happen regardless of the risk management. But to answer the question, risk management, DOT, so you start getting like DOT guidelines, OSHA compliance, and things like that. That's a whole nother, sector that, really requires a specialist. And what we do at Granite is we have specialists in their lane. We have a specialist for DOT, a specialist for OSHA, HR, claims. So we have a 30-year claims adjuster. Her name's Catherine Rolfe. She's got tremendous experience. So she's involved in any claims that our clients face, because she sits on the side of the table, same side of the table as them, where she's advocating against the insurance company's adjuster, saying, I don't think the timelines right here, or just correcting that process if there are issues. But as far as check-ins, so we do, at the renewal every year, you have an annual policy. So probably about 3 months before that policy renews, we want to have a sit down with myself and say, are there any changes? Have you guys bought any equipment? Is there anything drastic that you think is going to change from this upcoming term to what you guys did in the current term? So there are a lot of follow-ups and just a lot of opportunities to, again, tailor the program the way it needs to for whoever, the specific client.
Mm-hmm. And that's the thing I like about Granite. It isn't just in Indiana. It's not in Hawaii or in, New York. It's everywhere. It's every state. 50 states they've got Granite Insurance Company. And there's a lot of these states that there might be northern New York. I know a lot of guys are like, man, I can't find no insurance up here. Yep. I've got a lot of employees and I can't find no insurance that even comes remote to it. Well, now here you have a source. There isn't many people out there promoting tree service insurance on the internet. It's hard to find. And the one thing I like about Granite is this. Whenever I recommend somebody, they're not calling Bobby Sue, Joe Bob. They're calling this man right here. You know what I'm saying? And that's what it's all about. Greg is going to answer the phone. He's going to talk to him. So I know the man that I told him about, he's going to be answering him. And that's what I like. It's the same way with Typhoon. When there's something that goes wrong with Typhoon, I know Ryan's going to be the guy to call or another guy that works for him.
So you don't have to press 1 for English.
Bingo.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's what I love. You know what I mean? And it's a small organization that cares about the people that they're providing the coverage for.
And that kind of fits with our whole motif of what we're doing with the podcast too. I mean, we're all trying to support each other to do right by everybody else. And to have somebody like Granite that's willing to work with the little guy makes a big difference, because a lot of times the insurance companies, they don't really want to work with the little guys, or we'll work with you, but you're going to take the big guy's policy and we're going to charge you through the nose for it. And this is what we offer. Either take it or leave it. So when you can get something for a smaller guy, insurance is an intimidating thing, and it's something that a lot of new business owners don't necessarily think about. Mm-hmm. They know they've got a business, they know they're making money, but they're not wondering, what do I do if this happens? Like, I know one of the things up by me is we do a lot of snow removal stuff. Mm-hmm. Most people don't understand, if you have a regular residential auto insurance policy where it's your personal vehicle, if you strap a snowplow onto that and you hit the main road, you're uninsured.
Yes.
Because you have to have commercial snowplow insurance with a plow hooked to your vehicle, whether it's your personal vehicle or not. When you're on that road, if you don't have a commercial plow insurance policy, you're uninsured.
And carriers have to underwrite for that. They have to know about the policies that they're or the operations they're financially responsible for.
Yep. But I mean, that's where education can go a long way too. And I know I've talked to people before, because you'll see somebody, it'll be an old guy. He's got a pickup truck and he's just going to the gas station to put gas in his plow truck after he's done plowing for the storm. He gets into an accident, and then the next thing you know, he's getting sued because he's uninsured. And he's like, well, I have insurance, but do you have insurance? And that's one of those deals where having somebody where we can pick up the phone and you're going to talk to Greg, or you're going to talk to whoever it is that is your insurance agent for that area, that makes a difference. Mm-hmm. You're not getting bounced around.
Now, y'all do forestry as well.
Correct. Mm-hmm.
What kind of forestry insurance do we do?
So that's not something that we've gone extremely heavily into. It's been more about arborist and tree services, but we eventually want to expand in more into logging, prescribed burns, sawmills, lumber mills, wood processing. But right now it's been predominantly arborist and tree services.
But
that's right, boy.
You are
wood
capable
processing.
of writing.
Yes, absolutely.
Now, are you doing just the liability and stuff like that? Or are you doing the equipment coverage and all
everything, whole 9 yards? So typically how it goes is general liability, workers' comp, auto. In the marine is for the equipment. Yep. Some people need professional liability. It's like if you're out there giving advice, or it's the example I always give for that is, let's say you're a tree service that gets hired by an HOA to cut out problem trees. You have to go and identify the problem ones. Let's say you're looking at that one, it's probably not an issue. 2 weeks later,
it falls.
Storm falls, goes through a roof. So you didn't cause that, but it's a result of your advice. So that's kind of professional liability. Then you get into, employment practices, which is kind of, employer disgruntlements. You got cyber liability. There's a bunch of different coverages, but to answer your question, pretty much the whole 9 yards.
Cyber liability.
So kind of like what we're doing right here, Ryan, where we sit here in this podcast and then somebody says something somebody doesn't like, and all of a sudden I'm the bad guy and they're coming after all three of us because I was sitting at the table with you.
So that would actually be general liability.
That would
sounds
fall
more
under
like
general liability.
that sounds more like guilt by association.
Liable. So yeah, liable slander. But cyber liability is a bigger concern just because everything is digital. Everybody collects people's
For like payment information and stuff?
addresses, payment information,
Okay.
names, date of birth,
Yep.
and they keep that on a database. And just the amount of hackers, cyber claims, and it sounds crazy, but it's getting up
I've
there
been
exponentially.
I was on the
yeah.
receiving end of that once.
Yeah,
I'm just
Oh, yeah.
a general liability is what I heard,
that's
so I'm
right.
okay with that.
I learned that with federal law, there's only a couple of people that can legally require you to give your social security number out, and that you can actually file federal charges on somebody if they deny you service for failure to produce a social security number. Basically, a IRS, federal, an employer, or a banker and financial institution. After that, nobody else can actually require you to do it.
Interesting.
It's a federal felony for the employee and the business owner, from what my attorney had told me when I went through that.
Ryan really loves to find where the reach of government goes and stops. And
Well,
he likes
when
to draw
you
the
sit
hard
there
line.
and get hit for tens
You
of
have to.
thousands of dollars of identity theft,
Yeah, you learn
you
a
go
lot.
from zero to a-hole real quick.
Yeah, it happens. It happens.
It hurt. It hurt bad.
So we got pulled up on the screen there because Sean's awesome. We've got Granite's main page right
Yep.
there. So when somebody pulls up Granite Insurance Company, this is what they're going to see.
Mm-hmm.
And all they're going to have to do is as simple as click on that, get a proposal, and that's going to put them in touch with somebody that they need to see, right?
That'll be Greg.
And Sean, if you want to go up and go to specialties and go down to tree care and forestry, so these are all of our different specialties. Oh, well, perfect. So that's kind of the cover page. You scroll down, why tree care business, our coverage options. So the arborist and landscape E&O, that's the professional liability that we spoke about, employment practices. Let's see here. Yep. So, and this is more the tree care specific proposal request. So whenever somebody fills this out, I get it directly to my email.
See, that's what I'm talking about right there.
Yep.
That's what it's all about. Greg is the man. This is who you guys are going to talk to. I'm saying it won't be 4 or 5. Well, Greg, what did you say there? Well, Greg's going to know because Greg was here doing it. This is what it's all about.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
This is security and knowing what I'm getting.
I feel like I need to try this out now just to see if it works that way.
I love
Research
it.
and development.
Hey, I'm not going to promote something I'm not a part of. I mean, I love Granite, and it doesn't matter. Like whenever I go to anywhere, if I go out of state, help people. Beth and I is doing a lot of different things out of state. I'm covered big time, up to $1 million liability, guys. That's huge. You know what I mean? I don't have nothing to worry about. You know what I mean?
Now, do you guys offer the umbrella policies? Because I
Yes.
know for like commercial snow removal, $1 million liability doesn't do anything for commercial snow removal anymore because they want a $2 or $3 million umbrella and rider. And
Yep.
So that's the part that a lot of people don't understand too, and that's why having somebody that's local or somebody that you can talk to all the time makes a big difference. Because if you're just starting a business, you don't know what you need.
Mm-hmm.
And having somebody that can be straightforward and honest with you instead of somebody that's going, hey, look, here comes a paycheck.
Right.
I've got this guy.
And the umbrella cyber EPLI, those, I mean, I like to present all options and say, here are the options, here's what it costs, here are the potential upsides, downsides, and really let my client make the decision on what they want because it's their prerogative, it's their business. But the umbrella basically extends, and it adds an additional limit over either general liability, workers' comp, or auto liability. It's all the liability coverage, and typically I wouldn't offer an umbrella unless it covered all three, or going back to the client, if they're like, yeah, I really don't want that on workers' comp, that's fine.
Yep.
Here are the potential downsides of that, but this is you're the captain of this. My job is just to advise you. But umbrella is something I like to offer for really every proposal that I give.
Okay.
And that's what I liked. Whenever I talked to Greg, first of all, on the phone, we went through he was telling me all about it. And then all of a sudden I had a problem and I called him on the phone. He goes, hold on a minute. Wait a minute. I want to FaceTime you. And I was like, what? He goes, yeah, just let me FaceTime you. So we FaceTimed each other. And I was like, hey, what's up? Well, when I tell you, I want to make sure that I'm looking you in the eye when I tell you. And you know what? That right there meant the world to me.
Was that because it was bad news or good news?
Well, both. I mean, he just wanted to make sure that whenever he told me what he was saying, that he meant it from the heart and he was being dead serious. Not very many people, let alone insurance company guys that have morals like Greg, do this. And that totally impressed me. I'm like, Beth, this guy is legit and he really means what he says. And that's why we're on the podcast today. You get what I'm saying?
Well, this is my first podcast. I'm honored to be here. So thank you,
Yes.
you guys for
This is
having
awesome.
me.
This is our first podcast too. Well, not first episode, but our first podcast.
Yes.
So you're welcome.
That's right. That's
Hopefully
right.
our last podcast.
That's
I
right.
mean,
Well, who knows? There
Never
may be
know.
Sparky's adventures later on. Who knows?
hey, Sparky, catfish, and cow pie.
The zoo hits the road.
Boom, baby.
But no, it's one of those deals where, you know, it's not a fun thing that everybody wants to talk about because insurance costs money, right? And
Yep.
when you look at a small business, margins are tight, especially if you're starting a new business, and it's an extra expense. And it's an expense that maybe not a lot of people plan on or figure or account into things. So having somebody that you can work with and kind of grow into that and, you know, morph that insurance as you go can make a big difference rather than going to a big carrier and they say, yep, you got to have these 10 things. That's what it is. We're done. This is the
Right.
policy. You know, sounds like you're willing to work with people to a point. I mean, as long as they're still covered and you're meeting your liabilities on your end, that you'll work with them to grow into some of those other things as they get bigger or as they need them.
Absolutely. Our motto is we want to empower you to be successful. And,
Right.
you know, for our lane and how we do that, it's obviously insurance and risk management. But it's, you know, we want to be a long-term partner. We don't want to just be a quote machine. Hey, here's your quote every year. You know, let me know when you're ready to renew coverage.
Yep.
You know, we want to be diligent, be proactive about risk management. Because, again, ideally, you never have to use any of these policies that you're buying. They're there for that day when you do need them. But, no, we want to grow with our businesses, grow with our partners, and then, you know, change their program and what they need as they evolve and as they grow.
So are there any states or any areas that you guys do not or will not provide insurance for currently right now?
No, there are some states that are tougher than others just because of certain, you know, how liability is set up there in litigation. And, you know, you got the marketplace in terms of insurance carriers. So, you know, some of them don't like California. Some of them don't like New York.
Yep.
You have certain states that are a bit tougher. But they're, you know, we can always typically find a solution.
Now, what about if somebody does international business? Like where I am in Maine, a lot of people do business between Maine and Canada. Do you guys offer service that would cover crossing
Yes.
the border and back and forth? And
So it's different per each carrier, and it gets down to if you're a U.S. based operation and you're doing, you know, stuff internationally, we can get coverage. We call it worldwide coverage, and I don't have that much experience in it. But I know that we have certain clients that does come into play.
okay, because I may have to talk to you because I have to go to Canada from time to time for work
coffee
now.
and donuts
Uh,
at Timmy's.
Timmy's is
It looks
pretty
like
good
we need
coffee.
to cut back on the donuts.
We might, but I'm getting better about it. You want to tangle?
No, I do not want to struggle.
Yeah,
Snuggle.
that's what I thought. So anyway, yeah, no, we're crossing into Canada more and more often, it seems, with some of the stuff that we're expanding with my business. And I know that was a kind of a question I had. And my current insurance carrier was like, we'll get back to you. And I never heard from them.
Yeah, they're more accepting if it's Canada.
Yep.
You know, you like North America, Mexico, they don't really
They're
like.
kind of like a neighbor.
Puerto
They're
Rico.
right next door.
Right, pretty much. Puerto Rico is another one that kind of falls in that same category. There are solutions. It's just you don't come across it a whole lot.
Yep. Okay. Now, what about if somebody, so one of the things that we do is we're transporting new equipment that is not necessarily ours, or it would be dealer-owned equipment. Do you guys do dealer-owned or dealer insurance for equipment?
It'd be so you're renting it.
Nope. We're transporting it. It may be ours to sell. It may be ours to rent. It could be going to a customer, whatever it may be.
So you would want to have some. So it's almost like you're a trucking company. At
Yeah,
that
it's
point.
not in our name,
Yeah.
but it's our property that we're responsible for because it may be getting transferred or it may be getting sold to somebody else after. So it's transport and use both, depending on what it is.
Yeah, so you would probably want to at least look into a cargo policy for, you know, it's almost like a Bailey, kind of like a dry cleaner where you're in someone's care, you're in the care, custody, and in control of somebody else's property.
Yep.
Which, you know, the dealer should have that covered on their end, I would think. But yeah, that sounds like it'd be a cargo exposure.
See, these are things we all learn about and we don't think about until we have to do it, Alan.
I'm telling you. That's what it's all about, man. When you're starting out, this right here is going to help everybody. I know there's a lot of people thinking, what in the world? Where am I going to get my insurance?
It's not
on?
an exciting topic, and it's
Well,
not
no, but
something
these
people want
people
to
are
talk
thinking,
about generally.
why are we talking about insurance? Why do we care? I'll tell you right now, if you don't have insurance and something happens, you're going
Not
to care
gonna be
really
good.
quick.
It's not
really
going to be
quick.
good.
Yeah, the litigation's crazy, and just the it's crazy that, in one event, your business and livelihood can be taken.
Well, the average, so I had, back in the spring, I had to sit through some logger update certification courses. And in Virginia, Forestry Mutual sponsors a lot of the Virginia Sharp Logger training. And one of their agents or whatever, one of their people was there, and they were talking like big truck accidents. The U.S. average lawsuit for a big truck accident now is $21 million.
Yeah, you have these nuclear verdicts on these horrendous
cases. Yeah, it's insane.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's, a lot of that comes down to the jury and jurisdiction and kind of political landscape of things.
And, well, if you're depending upon 12 people that aren't smart enough to figure out how to get out of jury duty, your odds aren't very good.
That's right.
I hate to put it like that, but let's be honest.
This goes back to the whole reason why sometimes you need insurance.
Yes.
Well, I know a friend of ours is a logger, and this goes back, I think he told me 20 years ago. He and his dad had a logging business, and one of their employees wanted to be his own boss, and it was the guy that drove the log truck for him. So they sold him the truck on time. In other words, he was going to make payments on it. Mm-hmm. The title was transferred to his name with them as a lien holder. Mm-hmm. So the employee now owns the truck. The truck is titled in his name. He's paying the insurance. He's doing the maintenance. Mm-hmm. His name is on the side of the truck.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So he's a subcontractor.
He's a subcontractor. Mm-hmm. He was on his way to the mill one morning, and a woman ran it was a four-way coming up, four-way intersection. He had the right-of-way. She pulled out in front of him. He hit her, killed her and her kid that was riding with her. Oh. I mean, a horribly tragic accident. Man. I mean, very, very bad. Wasn't his fault. She had, she ran the stop sign. But from my understanding, that when they did the DOT inspection on him, they found his brakes were slightly out of, I think one or two brakes were slightly out of adjustment on the truck. Mm-hmm. So they sat there, and this was for a log truck, a fairly new truck. Mm-hmm. They said that could have been a contributing factor, and that if they had been properly adjusted, he might possibly could have slowed down enough that maybe this wouldn't have happened. Mm-hmm. So the family sued the subcontractor, the truck driver, mm-hmm. and his insurance company. And I think they had like a million or maybe $2 million policy. Mm-hmm. They sued the logging company
that sold the truck.
Because it was their wood on the truck. Okay.
Yep.
The wood was going to one of the big mills.
So they sued the mill too.
They sued the mill as well, even though the mill didn't even own the logs. That's right. Just where the logs
I've heard this happen before.
The logs were going. And they sued them. And it was like I think it was a $7 million lawsuit. And the family, the attorneys, of course, naturally, wound up with the family got like $500,000 out of it, and the attorneys got the rest of it.
Wow. So this goes back to guilty by association again.
Yeah.
We live in a culture that's very sue happy, and all it takes is one thing to happen. And once it happens, Alan, I'm going to own everything that you have and everything you thought you were ever going to have, and then I'm going to take a piece of what your kids were going to have too.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's what people are today. Today, that's what it's all about.
It's
and probably that's what they go after.
Probably a coincidence, but it always follows the deepest pockets.
Yeah,
it does.
Money follows money. Mm-hmm. So when you look at it, they know that the insurance companies have the money. So if you have insurance, they're going to go after everybody that's involved with that insurance company because they know that there's money attached to it.
It's just like I had no clue about getting internet insurance until I met Greg. I didn't even know there was such, like if someone was to see one of my videos.
That's the professional liability.
Professional liability, yep. Yes. Mm-hmm. And I never even heard of that. I'm like, what is professional liability, Greg? And he's like, let me explain it to you. So I make videos about cutting trees. Everybody knows that. And I'm spreading awareness about what I know and what keeps me alive. A lot of people have messaged me, and I've made videos about this. Hey, TKP, check out this tree here in my yard. Can you show me how to cut this? Is there any way you can just tell me how to cut it? And I tell them no, or I do not reply. Because once you think you know, and you tell them what you think you know, Then George goes out and says, hold my beer and watch this. Tree lands on him. Wife said, I thought you knew how to cut this tree. He's passed away. She goes through his phone, finds out I tell him how to cut it. Now you killed my husband.
Yep. Cut your own tree.
I'm not. Nope. And there's been many people text me, hey, can you tell me how to cut this tree? I'm going to send it to you. Just tell me, can you cut it or not? And one time, I said, $350. I'll come cut it. When I got there, I had to have a bucket truck with a 100-foot boom to reach the top of it because the other half that they didn't show me the picture of landed towards $1 million house. I told them $350.
Yep.
I learned my lesson really fast. You never go off a video.
The camera never ever shows
Never.
all the angles.
Right.
And that's people eating other people alive in comments.
Yeah.
When they're watching something, one, the people that eat other people on there, if you go back and look in their Facebooks, they almost never do anything. They're keyboard warriors.
Yep.
But secondly, the camera never ever shows all the angles in which you
doesn't.
really see.
I think every one of us sitting at this table that does social media knows all about the keyboard warriors. I mean, it's every single day. If you want to find out who's an expert on how to do your job, all you got to do is put a video online and somebody will tell you what you're doing wrong.
That's really good.
Do you know what an expert is?
No
X
comment.
is something that has been spurts something that's fused out.
Somebody that's 500 miles from home.
Yeah, well, that's it too. Part of it is the internet's made people way too comfortable voicing their opinion rather than looking somebody in the eye and telling them, hey, you're doing this wrong. Because a lot of times if you had to look somebody in the eye and tell them that, the story is going to be completely different. But again, the camera doesn't show it either. I mean, it's one of those deals where it never really shows just what it is. I mean, I had an incident where I've had a guy that's been following my YouTube channel since we started it, and he came up and he saw our old wood yard as I was cleaning it out. And he's like, man, this thing was tiny. He's like, it doesn't look that small on camera. And I'm like, told you guys this was little. When we got 3 or 4 or 5 loads of wood in here, we're full. He's like, I can't even picture 5 loads of wood in there. He's like, I can't believe you guys did that. And it's like, but if you see it on camera, well, you see it on camera all the time, so it's got to be huge. They've got all this room. We had no room. I mean, we were tripping over everything to make it happen. And now we moved to the new wood yard, and I've got all this room. I've got more wood in the yard now than I've ever had. And I look around, and I'm like, I've got so much more room for activities. It's great. But they don't know. And there are our keyboard warriors. They've arrived.
That's about accurate.
So, I mean, when you look at it, they're probably sitting down in mom's basement waiting for mom to finish dinner. And they're like, oh, I'm going to show Ryan how to farm because I've seen beef cattle on TV.
Hey, man, that's where I make my money. I love my keyboard warriors.
Well, they say there's no such thing as bad publicity, and that's true to a point. But I think for me, I've trimmed a lot of that out of mine on purpose just because of what I'm trying to create for an atmosphere. Yep. I don't want the negativity in there. I don't want a bunch of people that are just stirring stuff up to cause fun. One of the things that we've talked about on this, and we'll let Greg in on this, is we want to get the younger generation interested in this. Mm-hmm. The last thing that the younger generation wants to see is a bunch of negativity around any of this stuff or somebody always picking apart something that you're doing. If you've got somebody that's following your stuff and every time Alan posts a video, TKP, you got no idea what you're doing. You better put the chainsaw down. You're going to cut your toes off, Tommy 2 toes, whatever. When you look at that, these kids, they're watching it and they're like, well, why are they always picking on him? And after a while, if you're a kid and you see somebody picking on somebody all the time, you're like, well, I'm not going to watch this guy no more. And I don't want that around my stuff. So I weed those out. I call them the turds. You can flush a turd.
So, you can, but that turd's going to, I don't know, man.
Some of them are built like that proverbial piece of corn.
Yeah, and they never go away.
I think I heard this from David Goggins where he said that you're never going to find a hater doing better than you.
Right.
Bingo.
Like, you always got people that are out there having to give these negative opinions, but it's like, they've got nothing to show for themselves.
Those haters you got to pray for, man, because something's going on in their life to where they just can't handle it. They just don't like you doing any good. Well, that means they're having a really bad time in their life. So all you can do is say, hey, man, I'm really sorry you're having a really bad day. And if you notice, sometimes I get so many haters, on one post, and I used to do this. I'd be like commenting underneath one. Then they're like, Beth goes, did you read that comment? I was like, no, why? You totally told off somebody that didn't even say anything to you wrong. I was like, what? So I get in there and look, you know what I mean? I'm like, oh no, because there's just so many of them, and then you comment on the wrong one. It's happened, once before.
I just ignore them. I don't worry about them.
That's what I'm saying. So from here on out, you know what I mean? Like from whenever I stopped doing that about a year or two ago. You just got to pray for them. There isn't no reason to go in there. Now, sometimes you can make an example out of one of them. You know what I mean? And make people think.
I usually pray that they find another channel to start watching or something like that, and I flush them. We don't do it. They're gone.
I give them a Willie's Firewood sticker.
Oh, appreciate that. I appreciate that very much.
Now we know where they're going.
I'll send you guys home with a pile of them. That'll be good. That'll help out a lot. I'm going to need some insurance, Greg.
That's
we're going to have some
I can help
problems.
you out.
Yeah, we're going to need it. These guys really like to help me. But it's that thing when you look at it. It can be the smallest thing in the world that can cause the biggest problem.
It is.
And you never know what that problem is going to be until it's there. And once it's there, it doesn't go away. You got to take care of it. And that's what insurance is for. Mm-hmm. It's to hopefully take care of those problems before you ever know they existed, so that when you have an issue, you can call and say, hey, Greg, this happened. Am I good? Greg says, yep, we've already gone through that insurance stuff with you before. We know you have it. You're covered. Move on.
Now, you hit something. We're talking about bringing new people in. Now, how do y'all handle somebody? Let's say you've got, you're a young man yourself. I mean, you and I would just spend some time down on a log deck with another young man that's interested in the forestry industry. And what were we doing?
Marking logs.
Marking, learning how to grade and sort, right?
Yep.
So you got somebody young, y'all's age or whatnot, that's coming into this industry. I mean, they've got no prior experience or whatnot, no track record. Can y'all help them out? Because those are the people that I've seen that have the biggest
it's the biggest hurdle.
Yeah, it's the biggest hurdle, entry to barrier to bring them in.
Yeah. So from an insurance perspective, yes, there's nothing that, it's more about, if you're a new operation, you don't have any claims. You've got, you can, the experience aspect, typically you can get a general liability policy with no experience. There's a lot of new ventures that go do that. There's a lot of big new ventures too that I run across that. They've just got a lot of money and they want to put it somewhere and they want to start a business. So it's not, the age demographic isn't really, an issue from our perspective.
So your insurance company doesn't require previous experience or previous exposure?
So we don't, but the carrier might.
Yep.
So we, in it, there's, hundreds of carriers that we work with, but, that's more of an underwriter question. Yep. My job is to tell the story and tell the narrative that, that the underwriter needs to hear. To get the best options for my client. Now I'm not lying or I'm not twisting the truth, but
did you send TKP's videos to the underwriter and say, check this out? What do we do?
So his professional liability coverage was a little bit not a challenge, but they're like, so this guy's teaching people how to cut trees virtually. And I'm like, something like that. But no, they did check out his profile and looked at everything and. There were some questions that, they asked. We had to get some answers for, but...
I'm legit, guys. I am legit.
Did they spend any time actually talking to him?
I tried to get him to, but they didn't want to.
Hell, I can understand that. We travel with him, and it's just like, what?
Guys, I'm telling you what, man. It was something else. I said, my wife, I never will forget it. She goes, we got back from Swannanoa, and we get back, and my wife goes, hey, this guy by the name of Greg Johnston just texted you. He's from an insurance company out of Hickory, and he wants to collaborate with you. Just talk to you. And I was like, what? There's no way. That's got to be a scam.
The first thing that ran through Alan's head is, what did I do?
Yeah, so the very next day, 3 days go by, and she goes, hey, that same guy just texted you or emailed you. I was like, well, you know what? It's raining. I'll just call him. Greg and I spent an hour and a half on the phone that day.
Well, it's funny because I saw the video that you put out for Wood for Warriors.
Yep.
From Hurricane Helene, and we, at the time I was living in Burnsville, and we got hit heavy by the hurricane. We were stranded for 3 days, and we were, the work on our road is still being done, but we got hit by that really hard, and just seeing that video, it hit home, and I'm like, I need to reach out to this guy.
And that's the thing right now. This young man Greg is here today and has been here all day,
and
helping
showed
us
up to work.
That's right, guys.
I saw him working.
He's here to support.
Working.
He's here to support our veterans too.
Let me see those hands. Hold them hands out here. Hey, there's actually a blister or two. There's some calluses on these, y'all. This isn't typical
insurance. Got some miles on them.
It's not typical insurance.
All right, you don't have to hold his hands. You can let them go now.
But look, we got saws.
No.
We got saws that'll fit those.
Just let him go. It's okay.
It's okay, Ryan. We know you like that fresh bait. You want to put him to work.
Hey, Ryan, we'll talk after. Yeah, right?
But we got saws and firewood that'll fit those hands.
Wait,
right.
firewood?
Yeah.
You're in. We're good.
Yeah, see, now warning, he might want to struggle snuggle now.
Yeah. That's how we assert dominance.
Well, you got to stay warm in Maine.
Oh,
That's
man.
right.
That's it.
Yeah, you go cuddle with him.
I'll stay in Indiana.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's one of those deals where even though it's one of those serious things that you have to talk about, it's something that you can still do without making it this great big dreaded thing.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, insurance is something that you have to have anyway. It's having somebody that is qualified and professional and can answer your questions. And I'm sure, I haven't known you all that long, but if I asked you a question and you didn't have an answer, you're not going to BS me and say, oh yeah, well, yeah, we can do that. You're going to say, you know what, I'll go find out.
That's right.
Yep.
I don't know, I'm going to go find out.
That's right.
Yep.
Because I
He
get
gets
asked questions like that all the time. I'm
Yep.
like, hey, I've got no idea, but I can definitely get an answer for you in less than a week
Right.
or a couple days.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. I'm going to ask you one thing. You can walk us through it. So I'm on a big site, $1 million home. I done cut a tree. It went the wrong way and landed on it. And I got you on the phone. What's the steps you would do, and how would you take care of that situation?
So first I would ask, is everybody all right? That's the first question I always ask during those calls. The biggest thing with a claim is you want to get the facts. You want to get the details about what happened, when it happened, who saw it, especially, if it just in liability, especially if somebody got injured or a third party, like stories can change over time, narratives can change. They talk to an attorney and they say, well, are you sure that happened? It sounds like it probably happened this way. And, oh, you might be right. No, we want to know the facts about what happened in that time, asking the right questions, day, time, witnesses, specifics, because that's going to be, in your benefit later on when the adjuster
Specifics
calls.
can be weather and things like that.
Yeah, 100%.
So with like
Weather.
commercial snow removal, I was involved with it enough. The first thing they want to know is what the temperature was, the last time it snowed, the last time the property was serviced, what the weather was that day, what the weather was for the following 12 hours after that day. Because just like you said, if you go see a lawyer and they look and they see, well, it snowed on that day. It doesn't say what time it snowed. They're going to say, Ryan, are you sure it wasn't snowing that day? And you tripped and fell and it was 6 months ago and you don't really, well, it might have been.
All the time.
And then pretty much from there on, you're guilty because they
Done.
can look and it snowed that day. He said he fell. You said you serviced it. You must not have serviced it well, so it's your fault.
Yeah.
So, all of those factors, and I dealt with a lot of big insurance when I was at the bakery in my previous time. It's incredible how stories will change over time, just like what he talked about.
The bakery?
The bakery.
That explains a lot.
The Muffin Man.
Dishpan hands.
That you look like the Muffin Man.
Oh, yeah.
And now we know why we tore up my saw. You get what I'm saying? Now we understand. It's
Because
the
it was a
dishpan
husky.
hands.
You can't handle
Oh
it.
no! Oh no!
That echo has never let me down.
Echo, echo.
That's right.
For the claims, though, we have kind of an incident report that gives answers those questions: date, who was injured, what happened, and it's a nice form that you can print
Now,
off.
is that an online form?
Yeah.
or-
So
Yep.
and that's on our website. And Alan, I may have sent that to you.
Yes.
And you may have shared. I'm not
Can you
sure.
pull that up for Sean, please?
But that's something that I say keep in your truck. Keep it there when you need it. So when you need it, you have a nice blueprint and framework to
Yep.
say this is what happened. Take a picture of it, send it to me, onto the adjuster.
Yeah, so when we did commercial snow removal, one of the things that the insurance company we were working for at the time wanted is they wanted a daily log.
Yep.
They wanted to know the time that you arrived, the time that you left, what you did when you were there. And that way, if there was ever any incidences, it shows exactly when you were there. And you could go back and you could look at it, because what we were always told, if it wasn't in writing, it didn't happen.
Mm-hmm.
So if you document it and it's in writing and you were there, most of these places all have cameras. Just about everywhere has a camera now. So the times line up, the times correspond. If you can prove that everything was right, and then you're all set. But if you don't have it written down, you say, well, I think I was there at 9 o'clock. Well, were you or weren't you?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think I was.
The biggest problem is when question marks arise late into that process.
Yep.
It's if they get hit early on, you can kind of sift through it, but if you get into a month long, or typically claims are more than a month, some depending on what it is, could be a year or a couple of years.
Yep.
But you definitely don't want those question marks coming up late in the game.
All right, so where do we find that form?
So if you go to business, actually no, sorry, resources top right.
Resources for
Yep.
400, Sean.
Let's see here. Let me see. You go to tree care services. So this might be the only one that we have on. So this is work comp specific.
All right. Well, here's how it's going to work. If you have one of those issues, you're going to call Greg, and Greg's going to pick up the phone. He's going to call you back, and he's going to tell you this is what we
Claim
need.
form right there.
There we go.
Yep. So you got personal insurance. Is that the only?
Hey, now, Greg, what if you're dealing with somebody technologically
Commercial insurance. There you go.
challenged like me?
Give me a call and we'll go through it together.
There we go.
That's
what I have
what
to-
Ryan was looking for. He's sold.
That's what I have to do on the application. So whenever,
I don't know if there's a link we missed somewhere or what.
long story short, just fill out that form. You'll get in touch with me and we can get you a claim reporting form.
Thank you, Sean. Well, we appreciate our IT guy, Sean. He's always filling up stuff we need.
He's digging. We send him on rabbit chases and goose chases and all that good stuff. But
He's
he's
awesome.
used to it by now.
No, a lot of the tree care guys, they hate the tech stuff and they're like, because you have to fill out these applications, you have to
Yep.
collect vehicle information, year, make, model, VIN, driver information, their date of birth, everything. And they're like, I don't even know where to begin. Just give me a call. I'm going to send you a link and then we can go through this line by line together. I have to
That's
do that
cool.
almost every time, which I'm happy to do.
Yep.
That's more your speed, Ryan.
Hey, he's there for you, Ryan. You will not have to do it by yourself.
He'll
buddy.
talk to my wife.
Mine too. Hey, let me let
She's
you
on the
talk
policy.
about
Hey,
it.
let's be honest. You probably talk to a lot of
I
wives,
was about
don't
to
you?
say a lot of upset wives that get caught doing that.
Oh,
Because their
yeah.
husbands are like, yeah, he put me onto this. I'm like, well, here we are.
We were just talking about our wives here.
Yeah,
the
the
other
last
night.
episode.
That's
yeah.
right.
Yep.
Yeah, we're gonna hear from them in a future episode. Let's hope they like us as much as we like
Oh
them.
my word! I cannot wait. This is going to be the best podcast.
We get
ever.
to be the peanut gallery, though.
We do.
That's going to be the best
fun.
part.
Mhm.
I can't wait to sit on the other side and make faces and all that stuff. I wouldn't do that
Yes,
Oh,
you would.
oh.
much.
Carrie won't be able to contain herself.
I know it's going to be
She-
great. I mean,
she-
I wouldn't do that.
She doesn't have much of a filter.
That's what I worry
And-
about. We're pre-recording that one on
Yeah.
purpose because our wives don't have filters, Alan. My wife's face has subtitles.
Yeah, mine too.
Depending on the crowd around me,
Yep.
my wife too.
It's not good. So we're going to pre-record that one. That won't be a live
Oh,
episode.
it'll be great. I can't wait.
No, well,
I
Carrie's
can't.
a 911 dispatcher, so they at her work, she's one of the senior dispatchers or whatnot, and they can hear the tone in her voice and like, oh, somebody better go get Carrie.
So, Greg, let me ask you this: you did a little bit of tree service work before you got into insurance.
Yep. So that's kind of what made, why we started the program. So Granite has historically been involved in the high risk industries, particularly adventure entertainment, zip lines, whitewater rafting, indoor rock climbing gyms, haunted attractions. So anything fun related, that's what we've been involved in. But when I came on board, my brother owns a tree service in Asheville, and I was on his first crew for a few years. Kind of knew the business. I was, on the ground crew. I was never a climber.
Right.
I can't stand heights.
Me and you are both on the same
Right,
page. there.
yeah.
I like the ground too.
yeah. So I know the industry, know the guys that work in it, know
What?
just kind of the day-to-day there. But yeah, it kind of fit the mold of high risk, not necessarily adventure entertainment.
Oh, it's adventure if
It
you're the
is
one swinging
adventurous.
from the tree.
That's right. Yeah, it is adventurous.
I've gone for some swings in the tree.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, my expertise there and just the general concept and our value proposition fit kind of everything else that we did.
How
Yeah.
long have y'all been around?
So the company started in I believe 1936. But really since 2015, the company's grown at about 30% every year. So there's been a drastic increase over about the past 10
Granite
years.
has grown. You're saying
Yeah, Granite's grown a lot. We went from 11 employees to 45 right now
amen.
in about 10 years. And
Wow.
that's,
That's good.
it's going to keep going up. We've got plans to be, I think, 150 by 2030.
Well, hopefully when a
That's
bunch of the
amazing.
people hear this podcast and need insurance and you get overwhelmed and too busy, we'll be able to provide another employee.
That's right. That's right.
That's
That's
right.
the
Maybe
goal.
it'll be a young person that they hire and we can help grow that industry too.
Man, we need it. I'm telling you, it's going to be. This right here is what I'm excited about when it comes to this podcast. Is all about bringing awareness to what we're doing, and people need to know the real inside. I know I grew up a lot the last 10 years watching X-Men and everything, and I really enjoyed that show, but it was a show.
Yeah,
This is right here is reality.
Yeah, it didn't bring in a lot of the true day-to-day
Right,
stuff.
this is
it was
what I want.
dramatized.
Yeah.
Yep, I want to bring in the true stuff. We have to have insurance. People might not like insurance, cool, but guess what? You still have to have it to do your day job. There's no way around it. It doesn't matter. And why not get it? Why not do the mom and pop thing? You know what I mean? Why not help out the people that you know? I mean, that's what I'm doing. That's what we're doing. I mean, our local place, we're at our local mom and pop, man. They need us right now, especially here in, America. That's what we need to bring back. And
we need to bring back Main Street USA.
Yeah.
Think about it. Is Walmart calling you, Alan, and wanting you to do tree work?
Nope.
Ryan, is Costco calling you and wanting you to raise beef for them?
Nope.
No. That's strange how that works, isn't
It's
it?
the local.
But the
mom
guy
and
3
pop.
houses down had 2 trees he needed cut down after the storm. He called you.
Yep, sure did.
And the neighbor half a mile down the road wanted beef for the winter, and he called you.
Yep.
That's what it's about. And that's what people have forgotten is you're supposed to take care of your neighbor. That's what it is all about at the end of the day, because when all these big businesses go away, if for whatever reason the economy collapses and crashes, you're not going to Walmart anymore. You're calling Ryan because you know Ryan raises cows, and you're going to beg and plead to be able to get that beef that you didn't want before because it was a little too expensive.
Or you're going to trade your talent with their talent, and you both are going to be happy. One
I
or
got
the other.
firewood. Ryan's got beef. I'm going to keep him warm. He's going to keep me fed.
Yep.
The barter and trade
I
system.
got my own firewood. I ain't feeding you, big boy.
Listen,
I don't have a big enough cow.
I'm definitely not feeding green bean. I've seen him eat.
Guys, I'm telling you what. You want to know why I'm broke? It's because it's green bean.
we know why you're broke.
After Boonville, I love you, Alan, but after Boonville, I had no illusions.
Hey, green bean stayed with my dad, and now my dad's broke. I guarantee you. I guarantee you.
I'll tell you right now, your dad's going to have a different understanding, but you know what? You were probably the same way when you were his age, too.
Yeah, my dad's like, oh, my word, really another large pizza? You know, I never will forget, whenever I was young, my Uncle John, we were doing this big job, and it was like a really big mud job, and we had these great big old flotation tires on the 240 jack. And my Uncle John goes, Alan, if you skid 20 trees before noon, I'll buy your lunch. I said, game on. I skidded 21 by noon. Well, mind your dinner today. Dad goes, you're in for a treat. So I got a big tenderloin and fries, and I ate them. He goes, hey, you ate all that up? I said, yeah, I want a cheeseburger. He goes, boy, if I buy you a cheeseburger, you're going to eat the whole thing. I said, I know, or I wouldn't have ordered it. They gave me a cheeseburger, and I ate it. 3 pops. I drank 3 pops. And you know what he said? Hey, Ray, I'm never buying his food again. It's not happening. He did a really good job, and he deserved it. But by golly, of course, back then, I'm not paying $10.95 for you to eat. Now today, it's what? $25 for one person?
You can't even go through a drive-through with a family the size that we have now for under a $50 bill. It just doesn't happen.
You go through Bojangles for fried chicken, and it's like,
Oh,
my
Bojangles.
Lord.
He said Bojangles.
I don't have no Bojangles up where I am.
Dude, you got to go to Bojangles. You get Southern thing, you got to go to Bojangles,
Look where
man.
he's from.
I know.
You know, I mean.
I love Bojangles. Man, I went to Tennessee. Green Bean and I, we ate Bojangles 2 nights in a row. Man, I love chicken. That's one of my things. Dark chicken, man.
Yep.
Yummy.
Yep.
Oh,
but no,
man.
it's getting the younger people interested. It's trying to build the sense of community. It's trying to keep the money where it belongs, because at the end of the day, you spending $250 for your groceries at Walmart isn't going to mean a thing to anybody other than Walmart.
Right.
But if you buy $250 worth of beef from Ryan, firewood from me, tree service from you, whatever it may be,
You're
that
supporting
means,
their family.
That means that you're feeding the family. That means that you're helping keep the lights on. That means you're paying the bills. When
And
you're
that
working-
money will go back into the local community.
Absolutely, because we all
especially
try
if
to
you're
shop
paying
local.
cash.
Yeah.
When you what was that statistic? When you spend like $50 on a credit card, I can't remember how many transactions, and that the bank owns all of it. Because you figure the credit card fees.
And it's not much because of the credit card fees. And
I think it was less than 10 transactions or less. If you take a $50 bill, I pay you $50 with a credit card. You turn around, so 3.5% of it's gone off the top out of that.
Yep.
You buy it from Alan. It's gone in no time.
there's Green Bean with his feast from Boonville right there.
Oh, man, dude. Hey.
So we went to this.
A little bit of everything that night, man.
We went to this restaurant called Boondocks.
Boondocks had a creek in the middle of it.
Yeah, I made the mistake of ordering a whole rack of ribs. I thought I was hungry. Okay, I'm not little.
One rack.
There
a
he
whole
goes.
rack, I said. Yeah.
Let's see if he can do it. Let's see if he can clean this too. All at one sitting, mind you. Oh, to be 16 again. One sitting. No pressure.
Right.
No pressure.
Molly's got a camera in it.
The green bean did it. He
That little bit left.
now, what all did you eat tonight at one sitting?
8-ounce salmon. Rack. Ribs. Half a baked potato.
Half a pork steak.
Half a pork steak.
A quarter of a 16-ounce Delmonico, a half of a 10-ounce pork steak, an 8-ounce salmon, a full rack of ribs, a half a baked potato, and what else was it?
5 Dr. Peppers.
5 Dr. Peppers.
And a bowl of applesauce.
Oh, yeah. Can't forget the applesauce. Oh, to be 16 again. And that is a big Indiana movement. My gut hurts just thinking about that.
So I mean, when you look at that, it's kind of like green bean. A little bit every day goes a long way. He's got to eat something, so he eats a little bit every day. And you know, you got to help somebody if you can. Hopefully, this podcast helps somebody understand that you got to have insurance. Insurance is an essential thing. If anybody needs to get a hold of Greg, we'll put Greg's information in the podcast information here down below. Reach out to him, let them know that God, Guns, and Sawdust sent you so that they know where you're coming from. And Alan, what do we do now?
Greg, thank you so much for being here on our podcast. We appreciate you very
Absolutely.
much.
Thank you
Thank
guys
you
for
for
having
being
me.
here at Wood for Warriors and doing your thing and helping out here. And guys, that is a big Indiana boom baby.
Got guns and sawdust echoes loud, carving out truth where the strong stand proud. We're done for now, but we'll be back again. Tune in next time where the stories never end.